today from Marathon Stadium. With test jumpers up for grabs, there's plenty to prove as the Newcastle Knights battle the Brisbane Broncos. Here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
And hello and welcome everybody to Marathon Stadium. Another big crowd in for the clash they've all been waiting for. Newcastle taking on the defending premiers Brisbane. 1-5. They got off the blocks last weekend with their win over South Sydney. Their side today boasting so many internationals: Lockyer, Hancock, De Vere, Walker, Saylor, Walters, Langer, Campion, Thorne, Tallis, Sivanasiva, Priddis, Webke, and coached of course by Wayne Bennett. The matchups are many, but none greater than the two number 7s out there today. Alan Langer in number 7 for Brisbane.
That's right, Rabbits. He needs a big game to do today as well, Alf, because it's been said that the new coach for the Australian side, Chris Anderson, would like to see a specialist hooker picked in that role. So it comes down to a matchup between that little champion there, 21 tests for Australia, and Andrew Johns.
Not only, of course, is a position up for grabs in number 7, so too is the captaincy job, which Alan Langer undertook and handled well last year against New Zealand. Paul Harrigan, one of the forgotten men in the eyes of the pundits for the Australian Test side to be named tonight, leads the Knights out. Hughes, Albert, Gidley, Craigie, Moody, the Johns brothers, Peden, Fletcher, Shields, Harrigan, Walters, Butterfield, and coached by Warren Ryan. And of course on the other side of the equation, Peter, is Andrew Johns.
And when Alan Langer does leave representative football, that man there will enjoy just as long a reign as the green and gold number 7. A superb all-round game, no weaknesses, and already at 24 years of age, 10 test matches under his belt.
Well, Steve Roach, it's got just so much appeal, this match. The coaches, of course, two of the best in the business and two of the best sides in rugby league.
Yeah, I've really been looking forward to this one all week, but teams don't feel as intimidated coming to Marathon this year as they have done in the past due to injury, suspension, and a couple of players leaving the club. Today, I think the forwards will cancel each other out, but an even share of the football, the Brisbane backs should come away with the win. 19 degrees, a moderate nor'easterly. Brisbane have won the toss and are running left to right.
National anthem of Australia about to be performed by Tyrone Penshaw. Just slightly overcast, a thin cover of cloud, but it's a beautiful day really for rugby league.
Australians all, us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and well toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gift of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
You can have the talent, but if the equipment doesn't work properly, it doesn't help you very much. Brian Grant is in charge of this tremendous game of football that I'm expecting. These were the teams that I think most people wanted to play the grand final last year, or in fact come together back in 1997 at the end of the two competitions. We're underway. Langer for Webke, and Webke comes back at a great rate, and Steve Walters tried to pick him off. He'll play the ball now, about 15 away from the Broncos line, and Thorne is met by the Newcastle forwards of Butterfield together with the number 12 in there, Fletcher. As they go left on the third play of the game, it is Sivanasiva, and he goes down under the tackle of Harrigan and Steve Walters. Bill Peden in there as well as they go down now on the fourth play, and Tallis is picked off in a strong tackle by Matthew Johns. That was a very good shoulder. Now Thorne, he takes the ground on 5 as Brian Grant calls Newcastle back the required distance to the boot of Lockyer. The charge down is okay, and Lockyer has to clean up. So play back just inside the 30-metre line on Broncos' end of the ground. And they may have gotten away lightly there. He saw a very similar start to the Newcastle match last weekend when Trent Barrett made a complete mess of his opening clearing kick of the day. The penalty against Andrew Johns, the penalty kick for Lyon finds it a metre into Newcastle's area. The Nine Network's coverage of the match of the day, Brisbane and Newcastle, with Webke again leading from the front and tackled on the 30-metre line. Priddis in the number 9 these days, through Kevin Walters, who was in some doubt only a half an hour before the announcement of the team officially. Thorne playing it towards centre field. They're 25 metres away from the line. Langer goes for a second man. Lockyer comes in, De Vera's with it, and he's put away on the far side of the ground. A big crowd in attendance as they come back on the right of the ground. Sivanasiva galloping towards the centre, and he's pulled down 15 metres out from the Newcastle line. Priddis then. Off he goes to the left for Langer to grab a kick in. Albert, he's got it and gets back into the field of play, but everybody's heart did a double jump.
None more so than Darren Albert's. It was a very difficult kick to take. In the end, he did a great job to regather and to get back in the field of play. Andrew Johns, they go wide, finds Craigie, but good defence out wide from Saylor and Chris Walker.
Owen Craigie, the call is loud, held. So they get away from him. 21 tomorrow, Owen Craigie. So he would desperately love a win. Good run by Fletcher. He went straight through the tackle of Sivanasiva, and he's got play out 30 metres from his own line. The Johns brothers combine. He steps off his right and beats Tallis, but Sivanasiva puts him away on the 40-metre line. From inside the 40, Andrew Johns kicks, the ball bouncing down to the 20, where Lockyer brings it back to the 30-metre line. He's confronted, and Gidley is there to put him down with Albert. Just beyond the 30-metre line, they come away from the eastern side of the ground, and with Langer it goes to Thorne, and Thorne comes under a buffeting from Newcastle. They're hunting in threes and they're hitting the big men hard. Was there a knock on a dummy half? Brian Grant saw what I thought I saw, and a scrum will go down in a great field position for Newcastle.
You can't afford to give Newcastle any possession from mistakes like that. They've done that, the Broncos. Tony Butterfield, he's pumped.
Roll it, son. Roll it. Lock in and stay in.
So the scrum 30 metres away. And 12 of the players non-existent for the time being as it comes out to Craigie, and Craigie is put away. 20 metres out now from the Brisbane line to the right of the ground. They work away from the grandstand side, and Peden it is who's put down. Walters the dummy half. They come down the blind. Fletcher, short ball. Craigie steps, beats one, beats the tackle of Kevin Walters, and he will play it 10 metres away from the Brisbane line. From the dummy half, it's gone through Shields, and it's with Harrigan. Harrigan gets a pass away, a bad one. Hughes couldn't take it. Butterfield takes it. Grant says play on. They're 15 metres out. Andrew Johns uses his brother Matthew. Runs to the line, and Fletcher didn't know whether to go in or out. And eventually he made a complete meal of it.
Just a touch of lack of communication there. The shake of the head from Troy Fletcher. He did start heading back in field. And Johns was through the pass as if he was going to go back on the inside. Fletcher had straightened up. Good start to this game as expected.
Not so a good start for Auckland today, beaten by North Queensland 24-0. North Queensland 24, Auckland 0 at Ericsson Stadium. Tallis now, he will play the ball 23 away from his own line as they go over to Michael De Vera playing in the centres today, as he has for a couple of weeks. They've got injury problems which have been well documented. Hancock now. Little run away from dummy half. It ends 35 metres out from his own line. Priddis, formerly from the Raiders. He gets his pass away for Langer, and Langer's kick bounces up high and then bounces a second time for Mark Hughes. And Walters and Sivanasiva put him away. Andrew Johns a dummy half. He stands to pass, and then it goes through 2 sets for Moody, and Moody will play the ball 40 out from his own line. This is Craigie. Now Harrigan looking for them. Come and get me. And they put him away on the halfway line, the Chief.
And that's what Newcastle will be looking for from Paul Harrigan, hitting the ball forward, not looking to offload unless it presents itself. In the last couple of weeks, he has pushed a few passes and caused a few mistakes as Newcastle go wide. Shields on the fringe of the ruck.
So many of these players in contention for the green and gold jumper for next Friday night. Plenty of tickets available. We'll give you the number later in the telecast. Butterfield now, through Matthew, onto Andrew, and then he puts a face ball across, and Gidley gets it away, and Albert with butterfingers puts it down.
Oh, some great hands there from the Newcastle Knights. It was a try. It went begging. The last double pump, I think, from Gidley just held the ball up a fraction too long.
Ooh! My God, that was heavy.
Good stuff there.
Butterfield up the top of an Andrew Johns tackle down low. Thorne it is now. And he will play it 25 out from his own line. He's done plenty of work early, Brad. He hasn't been in a lot of the teams that have been chosen. He had a very good test series last year, but he looks like a player that's putting himself under notice late for the selection process tonight. Langer and Walters put it together. Walters goes back into traffic, and he's pulled down by another outside contender for a jumper, Steve Walters. Now it comes from Langer to the right of the ground for Campion, who thought about getting it away, and then they put him down heavy. Fletcher it was on the halfway line. Now it's Langer, and he puts a kick down the ground. And Hughes watches it, and that's what he's going to let it do, bounce away to that corner, and it'll come out for a 20 tap to restart it. This was an enormous body confrontation here. Not that tackle, no, that was also quite heavy.
Super defensive.
Fletcher over the top. There's been some good defence, Peter, you're quite right. I thought they were going to show us the slow-mo of Butterfield.
Yeah, on Webkey, but Matthew Johns, 2 tackles he's been involved in against forwards. On the far side, he got Tallis. Probably a part of his game that he doesn't get due recognition for. Jason Moody takes the ball from the scrum win, and he takes it 19 out from his own line, centre field.
Andrew Johns at dummy half. Quite often he finds himself there, particularly on that first play that comes away with the speed men from out wide. Now Butterfield galloping, and a good run. Not ended. Got it away. Good work by Tony Butterfield. And now Gidley. The youngster that Warren Ryan rates amongst the best that he's coached. So it's away from Andrew Johns for Harrigan again over in the centre of the ground. He bumps away, flicks it out. Basketballed over by one of the Johns brothers. Through 2 sets of hands, and then it's with Craigie. Down now for Moody. Moody steps back into the defence and plays it on the halfway line. Craigie in for Fletcher, and a further pass across the ground by Andrew Johns and picked up by Gidley in mid-air. Comes to De Vere, fends away, gives it to Albert on the inside, and Albert will play the ball. 35 metres out from the Brisbane line. The pace has picked up a little bit. Andrew Johns with a towering bomb. Here's a bit of pressure, but Sailor's underneath it. The chief custodian was there. Now from Lockyer. For Brad Thorne to do it all again off his own line. Heavy stuff, Butterfield and Harrigan. And now Webkey. Webkey has risen to the top of the prop forward so quickly. And he's done it with this consistency of effort. Nothing more, nothing less. He just has one speed. Oh, Tallis. He's coughed it up cold. And another great chance for Newcastle. They'll get a scrum win 30 metres out.
Another mistake, another chance. It's a simple fumble there from Gordon Tallis. Just a point on Paul Harrigan. This year more than ever, he's really concentrated on offloading the football. And that second phase play he's providing, which is very good for his outside backs through the Johns boys.
Gidley's gone into the second row. Fletcher's out in the centres, and that's him with the ball. He'll play the ball on the 30-metre line, centre of the ground. Matthew picking up Peden. Back to Matthew. Switch at the point of the attack. Hughes. Andrew Johns steps and runs into Tallis and Webkey.
That's one of the reasons why Gidley was in the scrum formation, so they could hit straight back that way with numbers.
Harrigan reaching the Brisbane 20. A penalty goes to Newcastle. It's against the tacklers with a hand on the ball, a hand in the play the ball. To simplify the ruling, the player has been tackled. It is Paul Harrigan, and Prentice it is that rakes it away, and that's a rather stupid mistake given the proximity to the goalposts.
Well, they're coach killers, aren't they, those kind of penalties? He's never going to get away with it. He's 20 metres out. Pretty much a gift 2 points for Andrew Johns, who boasts a very high percentage rate with the boot, and it just seems to be a no-win situation.
Now, here's that phone number coming up for you for the test match next Friday, the Ticketek number. Tickets available, Australia versus New Zealand. It's 0292 66 4800. And adults tickets start at $15. Families start at $40. And you'll see the telecast at 8:30, of course, on the Rugby League channel here in Australia. Exclusive to Channel 9.
Thank you.
A big welcome to our New Zealand audience today. We approach the eve of the Anzac Day Test match. Become an annual event as Andrew Johns prepares to put first points on the board, and that he does. So Newcastle, the crowd is happy with the scoreboard showing them at 2. Brisbane yet to score, 11 minutes gone. Michael De Vere is about to start as we welcome some of our stations back from commercials to our coverage here of the Newcastle-Brisbane game. And it's Harrigan on the charge. And tackle number 1, 15 metres out from his own line. They've had most of the opportunities, Newcastle. They've had a couple of mistakes offered to them by Brisbane down the other end of the park. They could have easily put a try on the board. They haven't been able to do that, but they have picked up a penalty goal. Now it's Matthew Jones. Across for Shields in the centre of the ground. He goes straight and hard. He played quite well against St George Illawarra. And then a lovely pass, finding Peden at full gallop. And Peden will play the ball pretty much on the halfway mark as they come back for Andrew. And he keeps it low. He pushes it down into the corner where it is Lockyer watching it go into touch. And it'll come back to the 20 for the restart.
Very easy way to pick up 40 or 50 metres. A pat on the back there to a smiling Andrew Johns.
In fact, I must correct that. It's gone across the touchline in front of that corner post, so it's coming out for a 10-metre scrum.
And our first interchange players out there for Brisbane, both Philip Lee and Andrew G into the action. There's Butts just
hold it steady,
congratulating Andrew Johns, Brad Thorne and Webke onto the bench.
Winners of the ARL Grand Final, Newcastle in 1997, and Brisbane, of course, have won. What have they won? 3 Grand Finals, 4 Grand Finals. They're defending premiers now. They won the Super League in 97. They won, of course, ours in 92 and 93. This is Andrew G now, tackled on his own 30-metre line. Away from Priddis for Walters, and then Langer, and then a dummy before finding Lockyer. They're trying to get outside Darren Albert, and De Vere it is that's put in a touch. Good defence by Albert. He took the risk, he showed him the sideline, and then put him over it.
Problem there for the Broncos, they were very flat. It was almost stand and pass. They were desperate to get it out there, but they gave themselves no depth. And Albert was able to pick up De Vere very easily, and on that angle, just throw him into touch. Well, there's low fives, there's high fives, there's fives all over the place.
Steve Roach on the sideline. A comment from you in just a moment as we watch this scrum, and it is with Darren Albert, the grand final hero. Hasn't seen much football since, though, has he? Matthew Johns finding Gidley, inside ball, Hughes. Taken down by Sivan Asiba. He will play the ball 28 metres out from the Brisbane line, and Shields runs at them, takes them on, and pulled down by Philip Lee in the main for Brisbane. Now Peden to the 10 and away from Walters. What a pass from him. Harrigan then. Harrigan gets the ball away. Hughes is in support and pulled down. 5 metres out from the Brisbane line. A good chance for Newcastle. The crowd pushing them. Walters, Matthew Johns, he puts it in behind them. Plenty of urgency from Brisbane, but it's a line drop out to restart. Stephen Roach on the sideline.
Yeah, boys, you're right about the sting in the fence. They're hitting twice as hard than Newcastle Knights at the moment. Remember back last week, they did that in the first 20 minutes and then fell away. I hope they don't do that today.
So the test match you'll see next Friday at 8:30 around Australia on the 9 Network, and of course you'll see it in New Zealand as well.
Talking about falling away, Blocker, almost 80% of the points scored against Newcastle this season have come in the second 40 minutes. There has been some sort of problem in their second half. They won't want that to be the case against Brisbane as Fletcher takes it inside the 40. Taken low by Lee, over the top by Langer.
Steve Walters inside for Peden, who comes back to the short side with a right foot step. He plays it 15 metres away from the grandstand or the broadcast side of the ground. Butterfield across the ground. Harrigan on the bounce. He did well to make as many metres as he did. As Tallis hangs on together with Campion. He plays it back for Steve Walters. Dummy half run for the first time today. Andrew Johns is put down. He will play it 15 out from the try line now to the right of the ground. Matthew to the 10-metre line. Shields on the flats and going hard at the defence. They play it though. Back 15 away from the line. Andrew Johns puts another kick in, looking for a mistake in goal. This time it goes dead. So it'll come out to the 20 for the restart for Brisbane. Not the result Andrew Johns was looking for. Well, Grant has let the match start without the opposition being back the 10 metres. And it's Andrew G who will play the ball just inside his own 40-metre line. They come down the blind side with Shane Webke, and he's put down right on the halfway. Playing it back to Pridis, and now for Tallis. Oh, Tallis! Another mistake from him. Another great opportunity coming for Newcastle.
Well, there's plenty of blokes trying to play their way into the Australian side today. Maybe there's a couple playing their way out. Wouldn't tell us, you would have thought he'd be a natural selection. A couple of uncharacteristic mistakes from him today.
Talking of selection, and we have done plenty of that, but the selectors are being provided with pictures from all over the competition today, particularly this match in Canberra versus St George. Here's Gidley. And Channel 9 set that facility up for those selectors so that they could cover as much territory as they possibly could. Now it is Walters using the blind and the running Butterfield, who held back the pass. He'll play it 28 metres out. Steve Walters runs again. There's just a little hint there that Walters feels that they're starting to tire a bit, some of the big Brisbane forwards. And he's a dummy half again now as he offloads for Matthew. Then for Andrew. Now to Craigie. Saylor came in. He had to come in. And he took Craigie with a ball and all tackle.
First, you can have your second crack. Here we go.
Put a scrum down. Saylor. He had to do that. And he had to make it work. No area for failure.
Don't come any further forward. What's going on, Paul? We got a scrum there, Paul. You can't
1 from 5, or 1 and 5 for Brisbane, 3 and 3 for Newcastle as they came into this game today. Two of the great coaches, Bennett and Ryan, and now it's Saylor in from his wing and put down 15 away from his own line. They've done plenty of this, Brisbane. They've been under siege, with Newcastle having the better of it. Played there by Philip Lee it was, and now it's out with Kevy Walters with that right hamstring heavily bandaged. On their own 30, and Tallis this time gets a firm grip on the ball before he runs into Andrew Johns, who's come up shaking the head. He's taken a heavy knock to the side of the head. Webke takes a heavy knock from Butterfield. They put it through the hands, and Lee gets it away. Then Thorne, now De Vere, and he will play the ball on the halfway mark. So good hands by Brisbane. And now, with the shackles off, they're going down the ground with Lockyer. And he's put down on the 40-metre line. Brisbane get a penalty. Grant was playing an advantage and then caught Newcastle inside the 10.
And as is always the case, they take the quick tap. Andrew Johns still in trouble, got to his feet, fell to the ground, and is having all sorts of problems getting back to the defensive line. Here's Langer.
Now it's Thorne out wide, and Thorne absolutely throws Matthew Johns away before Pridis has got the ball and will be made to play it. Playing the ball back for Kevin Walters, who pushed Andrew G out of dummy half. Langer gets it away for Lockyer. Lockyer down, up again, down again. He'll play the ball a metre from the line. Now Newcastle's turn to feel the pressure. It's Langer finding Webke. He lost it behind him, and Langer is on it. But I think he's ruled a knock on. He has, Grant.
Alan Langer is the best player in the game in that 20-metre zone. And he's showing us again. Put Lockyer through a gap. Provided another one for Shane Webke just by holding the ball up. Just wondering where the knock-on was. The player's not happy.
So the first glimmer of hope for Brisbane went within a metre. Keaton standing out of the scrum to take it away. And Walker it is. Closing down. Chris Walker playing in the centres in jumper number 4. Mark Hughes. 20 metres out from his own line. That came off the boot there of Badiris, who's on the park. Shields is tackled 30 metres out from his line. Played it back for Badiris and then for Glenn Grief, and Grief tries to run over the top of Luke Pridis, who's played representative football at Super League level. And I noticed another youngster in the same mould is now being discussed as a chance, Craig Gower. As Matthew Johns puts a high kick down. 10 metres away from the Brisbane line is Lockyer, and Matthew Johns, tremendous individual effort making the tackle.
Yeah, super tackle and chase there from Matthew Johns. I've watched Andrew for the last couple of minutes. He is still not well. In fact, the trainer is running out towards him, but he's had a couple of looks over at the bench. And he's far from 100% as De Vere scoots out of dummy half.
Walker into acting half now. They come on the right for Thorne. He's met by Badiris, and also on for Newcastle in 16 is Conley to the 40-metre line. Walker in number 16. Not Walker, I should say, but Conley in 16. Passing away for Langer. Past Shane Walker it was, I should have said, and now it is with Albert, who brings it back for Newcastle, 30 metres away from his own line. Steve Roach, your comment on the sideline?
Yeah, well, Warren Ryan's trying to give his captain Paul Harrigan every opportunity to make this test side. I can't remember when he's played a full 20 minutes of football so far this season.
So all of the Walkers are out there now. My goodness, they've got some, haven't they? 3 of them, I think, on the park at the one time. Players just outside the Newcastle 40-metre line now as Andrew Johns, who seems to be recovered now. Gidley tries to put a fend on, but he's pulled down by Michael De Vere. Played there just into Brisbane's territory. Andrew Johns keeping this kick low, and it rolls back in field onto the try line, and Hancock comes away. Met by Albert and taken back and down. We're up and we're able to put him on the ground, Hancock, but Albert was able to do that. Now a terrible pass, a mongrel of a ball for Brad Thorne, but he did well to take it. And he plays it 10 metres out from his own line. This is one of the Walker brothers in 18, Shane Walker, 21 metres out from his line now. 16 is another of them, Ben Walker. The centres, of course, is Chris Walker. So there goes Chief Harrigan Paul going up the tunnel as Philip Lee is put down. Inside his 40, played back for Ben to give it away, and now Alan Langer puts the kick in. Hughes going back to the 10-metre line, gets a good bounce. He'll take Albert with him. No, now he comes back towards him. As the defence line arrives, and down goes Hughes on his own 20. Albert, and back for Craigie. Craigie a couple of paces before he gives it to Moody. Moody will play the ball now. Back again for Craigie, and Newcastle with Clinton O'Brien on in 15. This is Danny Badiris, and he's outside the 40-metre line. Good yards as they get it away on the right of the ground again for Glenn Grief, and they are making a lot of metres, and here's a penalty to them, Newcastle. This will help, 45 metres out from the Brisbane line.
And 25,000 Novocastrians have been calling for that quite a while. Finally, Brian Grant finds the Brisbane defenders inside the 10. Just a couple of half gaps appearing in both defences. Inside string to get us some passes. Getting to the time now where Teague might be just starting to play a role. Here's the Chief hitting it up again.
Well, he wasn't gone for long, as he plays it now 20 metres out from the Brisbane line. A sloppy play the ball. They come down the blind side of the ground, and that is Scott Conley. In 16, a penalty's been given. Newcastle will take the shot at goal. One would imagine 12 metres out and 12 metres in from touch. They lead 2-0 per medium of a penalty kicked earlier by Andrew Johns, and he will be given the same opportunity for this infringement. He's ruled 2 in the tackle, and the ball stolen by Brisbane.
Yeah, again, one of those 50-50 calls. I wasn't quite sure whether he raked it out or...
Well, from mine, Peter, it looked like he just lost it in the jolting tackle.
But the arm was there, and that's what made the referee's mind up. And this will not be an easy kick for Andrew Johns. As I say, I've been watching him very, very closely. He's not particularly happy out there at the moment. I think he'll be very glad when the half-time break comes around so that he can get in and clear his head.
There's been no better player on the field for the Knights today, Peter, than Paul Harrigan. He's been very heavily involved.
And if you're talking about big men on the other side of the equation, Brad Thorne has really lifted. If, in fact, the reports we've been reading about him this year are correct, he has lifted today. Here's Andrew from 20 metres out. He's hit it lovely. Straight across the dot. There's another 2 points to Newcastle. And they've built their tally to 4 now. They lead 4-0 at the 25th minute of Channel 9 Sunday football. De Vere to restart. And his kick is a big one. Way down onto the try line with Hughes sending Harrigan back. And Harrigan put down heavily, about 15 metres out from his own line. Badiris, and now O'Brien. And O'Brien got a lovely ball for Peden. Peden tackled just inside the 30-metre line. It's with Matthew Johns now. He turns it back and across where it's on the bounce with Conley. And he will play it now. They haven't gone very far on 3 tackles. And this is Glenn Grief, who will play it just inside the 40-metre line. Andrew Johns just taking it quietly at the moment. Danny Badiris right on the halfway line. This is the last tackle for them. Gone through the hands to Matthew. He puts a kick in. He keeps it on the ground. And Lockyer, thinking about matches against New Zealand, he had a headache and a half with a test match last year with the ball on the ground. Here he was professionally cleaning it up back inside his own 10. Now De Vere. And it is Clinton O'Brien that cleans him up. We're back now with one of the Walker brothers giving it for Saylor. Wendell to play the ball. Ben is the dummy half. And this is his brother Shane in 18, who's banged down on the 30-metre line. You can see the Broncos use the 3 of them all at once. This is Sivanasivan in 15. Playing it back for Ben Walker, then for Alan Langer on the short side. He puts a kick in that'll bounce up favourably and does for Hughes, who starts his run back down the ground. Ooh, ran into a heavy shoulder from Campion.
Good shot from Kevin Campion, and just on the Walker brothers, Ray, it was a game that you didn't do earlier in the year. We had them up against Canterbury, where the 3 Hughes brothers were up against them.
Well, that is a mouthful. The 3 Hughes brothers and the 3 Walker brothers. Harrigan takes it just into Brisbane's territory. 4-0 is the score in favour of Newcastle. I guess they'd be happy with that, but then again, they've had easily the most opportunities. The ball on the 40-metre line. Brisbane's into the ground. Andrew Johns back inside. Comes Matthew. Gets the ball free. Is able to unload, I should say, for Grief. And Grief will play it 28 metres away, centre of the park, away from Badiris for Matthew Johns. Puts the kick in. He's looking for Craigie. Craigie's on the run. Oh, Lockyer. Lockyer came down. His feet in the field of play. And he comes down to be tackled just inside the 30-metre line.
Great stuff there from Darren Lockyer. And some good cover defence. Once again, Paul Harrigan.
Brisbane were keen to stretch this ball. Here it's with Kevin Walters. Walters going over towards the left where they had 2 men unmarked. And he's pulled down 42 metres away from the Newcastle line. Tallis now. He goes again to the left of the park and he's put down 21 metres out from Newcastle's line. Newcastle 4-0. Langer, though, he loses the ball in the tackle. Albert picked him off from behind.
Big hit from Darren Albert. The Broncos, they found some space. They're starting to look a little bit dangerous out wide. Got him from behind. Wasn't expecting it, little Alfie. And the ball goes loose. A couple of fine tackling performances here today. Tony Butterfield, 16 tackles already, as well as Kevin Campion for the Broncos, 16.
We're in the 30th minute of play. No tries on the board. That in itself is rare in the modern day. They lose the ball. And it's Walker, the centre, who goes away with it, but Grant has given a penalty. Penalty to Newcastle. Must have been a 2-man tackle.
Well, he looked at it, and then he must have got a call from Coach Doge. Says the reefing attempt there by Ben Walker.
Fitness fun. Choice Fletcher back on for Aaron and Berg, real estate.
10 minutes of this first half remaining. And a very tight game unfolding. Just gets the opinion, though, that somebody's going to get on the outside of the defence and score a long-distance try.
You also have the opinion, Ray, that it'll open up in the second half. I think we might see some points scored. Lack of them in the first 40. I wouldn't be surprised if get across the line a few times. Newcastle now a good chance inside the final 10. Peter Shields nearly gets straight through.
Struggling to get that right arm free. The arm carrying the ball. Matthew Johns, a big dummy. Inside for Bill Peden. Pulled down 2 metres away by Tallis. Now Gidley. Gidley goes for the line. Brian Grant has ruled that he lost it. Lost it short of the line, so he'll bring it out for a scrum. That would be a Brisbane loose head and feed. Have a look at it. That's exactly what he's ruled.
Yeah, Gordon Tallis was the key man, came in to help. He got in the way, forced the ball out. Bit of a let-off there for the Broncos. Completion rate very, very good from both sides. Better for Newcastle.
What's going on here, Alan?
Still not too bad for the Broncos.
Somebody up here? No, I'm not. Can you fold a bit? Like, just walk it apart. Walk it apart. Look, I don't get out. Get the hands out of there. Listen, get the pattern right. I want to just step back a bit there. When you settle, pack.
Around the grounds of the NRL, St George Illawarra.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? They would go to that much trouble to pack a scrum down in 1999. Put the thing on the second row. Here's the ball stolen by Newcastle, and Craigie, he gives it for Moody. Moody is held, and they put him near the touchline. Moody will play it. Almost the unforgivable by Brisbane. Now Fletcher. Fletcher to play it. 7 metres away from the line. Medeiros to the right, long ball, equally for Matthew Johns, for Andrew. Then it's Hughes in from the back. Albert goes infield, and he's pulled down by Tallis and Kevin Walters. Back on the left now for Shields. He jinked the attack. Then Andrew away from Matthew, and this is Glenn Grief, and he will play the ball about 3 metres out from the Brisbane line. Play back for Danny Medeiros. Medeiros dummies. Medeiros, and he's pushed back. Tremendous defence. That's 5 tackles gone. Grief to the left, and Andrew Johns, and a short ball for Fletcher. He gets it away desperately. Oh, flicked off the ground for Moody. Moody's over to score. What about the flick pass from the ground? This was freakish. It probably was one of the Johns brothers, was it?
It's gone forward.
Oh, no.
The last pass, I'm not sure. One of the last 2 passes, obviously. I think it was Owen Craigie. The short pass there to Fletcher. He knows it's the last tackle. He gets it out the back. Owen Craigie flicks the pass out to Jason Moody, and that's the one that has been ruled forward.
Well, I thought for a moment we just witnessed another Houdini from one of the Johns brothers, but it was Owen Craigie.
Well, I think Brian Grant was going to give the try, and the touch judges pulled that one back. Very interesting. It's hard to tell from here, even on the vision on the TV screen.
And, of course, don't forget you cannot go to a video referee situation there. You can't rule on a forward pass, so it had to be adjudicated by the touchy and the ref.
So Brisbane, in fact, both teams making inroads. This time it's Brisbane's turn. Campion over halfway. De Beer joins in, gets the ball back for Michael Hancock, and Hancock is put away. Butterfield from where? He dropped out of the clouds, Butterfield, to make the tackle. Langer. Then it's Brad Thorne. He gets rid of one, gets it back for Langer. Langer to the 30. Back for Lockyer. Lockyer put down by Gidley. Brisbane applying some pressure. 6 minutes to go to half-time. Langer looking to put it back on the inside. Pull down 20 metres away. That's tackle number 5. Now it comes from Prentice. Kevin Walters goes across the ground. He's looking for Wendell Sailor. Up they go. A chance for Brisbane. A chance for Brisbane. And Walker goes over. I don't know about this. Shane Walker in number 18 has put the ball down. And Brian Grant wants the video referee.
I'll go try. I think they are onside. I just think he's got it down before he's hit the corner post.
Yeah, on first look, I agree, Paul. It's a bit dangerous to get in early, but I think the video ref will be okay with it. No doubt the chasers are onside. Now, he hasn't taken the winger out because it's a fair contest between Wendell Sailor and both Craigie and Moody. And
the ball has gone backwards anyway. There's no drama. This is the only drama here.
No, fine. No problem.
That's got to be a try.
And a good effort too. The nice diving try there, Shane Walker. Kept down low. Andrew Johns very strong, did his best. No reason that won't be a try.
Doug Winton is the video referee, and we expect the green light, and there it is. So the first try is on the board after some 35 minutes. Newcastle had led 4-0 off 2 penalty goals, and then with just on 6 minutes of the first half to go, the kick went across. It was looking for Sailor on the right, and the deflection comes down legally for Shane Walker to put it over in the corner.
And a very nice kick, wasn't it, from Kevin Walters? Just before the line, Wendell Sailor had actually put his hand up to say, yes, I want it out my way. Jason Moody was actually the man who touched the football and put it back towards the Broncos. And just moments ago, we thought that Moody had scored a try at the other end of the field.
some people want to see these sort of tries disappear from the game. I think it's terrific. It's a contest for the ball in the air. Anything can happen. And on this occasion, Brisbane do get a try.
Well, we've discussed it. Paul David Middleton and Andrew Voss have put forward a theory that maybe we should have shortened in-goal areas, all of them being 6 metres, which still reward the good kickers.
Lockyer from the sideline looks okay. It's going to make it. Yes, it's there for Darren Lockyer and for Brisbane to take the lead at 6 points to 4, 5 minutes from half-time. Yeah, it's happened. Just that last passage of play before half-time. One or the other was bound to break, and that was Newcastle's turn today. As Alan Langer uses Wendell Saylor to take the first play back, and he runs into the waiting shoulder of Clinton O'Brien. Walters in there, Fletcher in there, they all combined to put him down. With Andrew Johns heading for an early half-time, there is some concern about him, and we'll check that out at half-time. Here's Brad Thorne. He's led the pack of forwards for Brisbane today, no doubt about that. Priddis now, away for Tallis, who started badly, but he started to put it together coming towards half-time. Priddis again, good work. He put himself down there with a chance to carry it on, and that's exactly what he did. To the Newcastle 40-metre line. They want to be careful. They'll put another try on them. Tallis, he'll play it. 35 metres out from the line. 5 tackles gone. To Langer now on the right and kicking across again, looking for Saylor. The kick is quite deep. Hughes is on top of it, and now he's got the job of getting back, and I don't think that he's going to. He's not. It's a line drop out, so there'll be time for Brisbane to enjoy 6 tackles before the break.
It's been a great fight back by Brisbane, because really they weren't in the game for the first 30 minutes. Only, I remember twice they were in Newcastle's 20-metre zone. Looks like they might get into the half-time lead. You can't wrap Tony Butterfield enough. It's now up to 20 tackles he's made in his first half. That's a massive effort for a prop.
Steve Roach has got a quick comment on the sideline.
There's a bit of drama down here. Newcastle have made an official complaint. They say while Thorne was replacing Sivanasiva, he made a crucial tackle before Sivanasiva was taken off. Newcastle were on the attack and looked like scoring.
Langer then, back for Andrew G, and G trying to work through heavy traffic is put away 30 metres away from the Newcastle line. Now from Priddis for Langer, Langer for Walters. Walters lets a man go. Tallis picks up Lockyer coming in from the back, and down goes Lockyer under a strong tackle from Matthew Johns. Walters now back into the inside for Philip Lee. And jumper number 14. He's had some times with the number 9 shirt, but Priddis has got it right now. Now they come back for Langer. Langer at his most dangerous here. The ball on the ground. Did Thorne touch it? I don't think so. It's with one of the Walker brothers. It is Shane, the try scorer, and he's 15 metres away from the Newcastle line on tackle number 5. Now it goes back for Langer, and Langer goes to the air, across to Michael Hancock's wing, and up they go. It came back okay off Brisbane for Hancock. Hancock is strong. Can he get it down? Down they go. Grant is standing on top of it. He's going to give a try. It's a try for Michael Hancock. It is a try for old Michael Hancock. And I say that with endearment, Michael. 10 points to 4.
And a devastating blow for Newcastle, who have had the better of most of this first half. Again, the last tackle option is to put it wide. You'll see Hughes come up with a very strong tackle here on Michael Hancock. I thought he was going to be able to hold him out. That's a tough tackle to make. He had the help of Billy Peden, but even with 2 of them involved, they couldn't stop Michael Hancock from grounding the football.
Well, he's so strong, isn't he, Michael Hancock? One of the strongest in the game. He's been doing this for a long, long time now. And a good effort from him. He kept persevering and finally got the ball down. A massive turnaround in this match. And Steve Roach mentioned that incident with Brad Thorne. I actually remember it. I thought I was seeing things, but he raced in from the sideline like Batman through the night, saving a try. And never replaced anyone. They had 14 on, no doubt about it.
In Gotham City.
In Gotham City.
Darren Lockyer. He's 19 in from touch. And he's about the same out to take a 12-4 lead to the break, and he's missed it. So they'll have to be satisfied with a 6-point break. But certainly 2 points there that were on offer that Darren will not be happy with. 10-4. 2 tries for Brisbane have come at the 35th minute and the 38th minute. And play will not resume. They've soaked up as much time as they could, and they're heading for the break. 10 points to 4, 2 tries to nothing in favour of Brisbane over Newcastle as the players file from the ground. We'll be back after the break with the second half action on 9 around Australia and New Zealand. So the second half about to get underway with Brisbane leading by 10 points to 4, but more significantly 2 tries to 0. And Michael De Vere it is who starts us into the second stanza of play as we find Harrigan coming back hard. Webke met him. 2 of the leading prop forwards in the business, and Harrigan and Webke came together. Now Grief goes back and away. This was Harrigan on the charge, and Webke met him with the right shoulder. Now it's play number 3 for Walters, and he'll play the ball about 35 metres out from the Newcastle line. We'll check with Steve Roach in a moment what's going on down in the sheds, particularly in relation to this boy, Andrew Johns. He left the ground just before half-time to give the medicos a chance to work on him. Here he is with the ball, back and across for Gidley, and Gidley was met by Kevin Walters and put down right on the halfway mark. That is tackle number 5 as they go to the boot of Matthew Johns. And he pilots that ball down beautifully for Wendell Saylor. And Saylor is brought down on his own 30-metre line. So it's from Langer now. Back across for Thorne, and he's met by Harrigan and Shield. They muscled up early, Newcastle. They might have dropped off a little bit late in the half, but they certainly weren't lacking in aggression early in the game. Here's Webke now, just outside the 40-metre line as it comes from Prudis, a floating pass picked up by Gordon Tallis. And Harrigan and Shields again to the fore, with Tallis being wrapped up. Plays it back for Prudis, and then it is Sivanasiva, who figured in a bit of controversy, which was reported on by Steve Roach earlier. And we'll address that in just a little while as Lockyer swerves and gets a kick away on the left foot. It's a good kick too. It made the winger Moody run a long way to take it. And here is Jason Moody coming away 22 metres out from his own line. Newcastle then looking up at the scoreboard are 6 behind, 2 tries down. All they've got alongside the name, of course, 2 penalty goals. They had a couple of good chances in the first half. They weren't able to convert them into points, though. Shields did well. No thought of self-preservation in that little play of his, or big play of his. And this is Hughes, as the sound of the whistle gives a penalty to Newcastle. They don't waste any time, and Andrew Johns kicks it to fine touch on the Brisbane 40-metre line. 5-2 the penalties now in favour of the home team. Brian Grant tells Steve Walters to bring it to the point, and there's the tap. Harrigan met head-on by Sivanasiva, and Webke is like a little dog. He won't go away. Harrigan's like a magnet for Webke. He's attracted to him all the time in defence. Now comes from Gidley, away from acting half, into Andrew Johns. Long for Hughes, well directed across for Matthew Johns, then a face pass. Craigie's into the back line. Moody comes off the left foot and is tackled 10 metres away from the Brisbane line. Craigie. Matthew Johns, Andrew at 5/8 this time, runs to them, then gets the pass away. He's looking to back up on the inside. Gidley gets the pass away. Albert's over. Newcastle's in for try. Beautiful ball movement. Lovely try. They swept it to the left. They brought it back to the right. They kept them guessing, and Darren Albert has scored 10-8.
One thing that Newcastle are very good at is getting the ball from one side of the field to the other in very quick fashion. This is great work from Matthew Gidley. He gets a lovely pass from Andrew Johns. If he frees it there, you can see as he's gone in and away, he's attracted this man. He doesn't know whether to come in, and that allows Darren Albert a bit of space on the outside. As play continues, still keeps the winger Michael Hancock interested, and ample room for Darren Albert to skirt round the outside. Lovely pass from this man, but an even better one from Matthew Gidley.
Good stuff there for the Newcastle Knights. They love to play to the extremities of the ground. On this occasion, though, I just feel that Michael Hancock didn't show enough confidence in his inside man in De Vere. It was 2-on-2 and should have been handled quite well. And in the end, Michael just had too much ground to make on Darren Albert. You can't catch him.
Absolutely. Paul got it exactly right. I mean, this is just a case of a bloke not having enough confidence with the man inside him.
Bill DeVere, for mine, always had his opposite covered in Gidley, and anyway, defensive mistake. It's cost him a try, and now Andrew Johns tries to convert.
On the 20-metre line and the touch line, he might have hooked it a bit too much. He has. It's no goal. And so the scoreboard, 10 points to 8 in favour of the Broncos with 45 minutes gone. DeVere takes us into the action again with his restart taken by Hughes, and Harrigan comes boiling back to them again. It's been one of the features of the game, these long, hard runs of Harrigan.
But they are making it easier for him, Brisbane, by Michael DeVere's kickoffs. I know they're going high, but they're not going deep. And Newcastle, from both restarts, have got good ball position straight away, and here's better field position through a great run from Glenn Breeze.
Tremendous run to the halfway line. Now from Andrew Johns, they go to the short side. It's Matthew underneath the tackle of Priddis and also DeVere. Grief put a little dummy on there and was flung down by Sivanasiva. And the fifth tackle is with us as they work 35 metres out from the line. A big bomb from Andrew Johns, but Sailor's under it. And then runs away from Craigie, beats Moody. Craigie comes at him for a second go. Sailor will play it on his own 10-metre line as we go down to Steve Roach.
Yeah, it's official. That has been put on report, on the referee's report, about Brisbane having 14 players on the field. I'll just do Wayne Bennett's Brisbane side first. He was disappointed with the ease Newcastle are coming out of their own end, and he talked about the looseness around the ruck. He said they look the best when they go to the fringe of the ruck and put a few passes together and be confident with the footy. He said weather the early storm from Newcastle to hang in there. Just a quick news on Newcastle's front rower Butterfield. He will not be back. He's got a virus. He's been struggling with it all week, so that's bad news for them. Warren Ryan said, look, we've had plenty of opportunities. Be consistent. Our last pass is the thing that's really costing us. He said our defence has had plenty of sting. We've got to do it for the full 80 minutes. He said the last two times Brisbane had the ball, they made 80 metres. That's not good enough. We've got to correct that.
There's a penalty on here right in front of the sticks. And it's going to go to the Brisbane side. It's a late tackle on Darren Lockyer by the second rower Troy Fletcher. And here's Lockyer. Now Fletcher has taken off. Some people will say that he couldn't have pulled out of it. I don't agree with that. I think he could have got out of it easily.
I don't think he had to start, Ray. I don't think he had to leave the ground. The kick had gone before he actually got up off his foot and into the air.
Because it was late. Righto.
So it's not high, but it's late, and it's a presentation 2 points for Brisbane. That's, in fact, if Alan Langer decides to go that way. Troy Fletcher, the culprit, and I can't find an excuse for him. I really can't. Once more, there's Lockyer.
Yeah, we saw on Friday night with Gary Larson. He was already in the air when the kick was made. Just took him a long time to get there. On this occasion, Fletcher hadn't even started his jump.
So the penalty, of course, was given where the ball landed, and that was 12 metres away, as you can see, from the uprights, and it's only just off centre. 10 points to 8 in favour of the Broncos. The half-time score 10-4 in favour of the Broncos, and it's almost certainly going to be 12 points to 8 when Darren Lockyer takes these 2 points that have been presented to him by the Newcastle second rower. So we've got news that Brisbane are on report for 14 players on the field. We will hear more about that. And 12 points to 8 is the score in favour of Brisbane. 4 points the margin now. The New South Wales Rugby League First Division score today. Canterbury defeated Newcastle by a big margin, 22 points to 4. That's New South Wales Rugby League First Division, 22 points to 4 in favour of Canterbury. So Brisbane then coming up with the ball in very good field position, really.
Yeah, he did very well, Luke Priddis. Short kickoff was taken by Steve Bowlers, tried to catch him out. He was let it go the 10, and grabbed it, and now Brisbane. He went in there, Sales, through Campion.
Campion with a big bust down into vacant pasture. Walker backs him up. Walker gets support. Priddis is there, and Priddis is tackled 2 metres from the line. Tremendous work by the Brisbane number 9. Walters holds the ball back and will take the tackle and go to ground. Put Luke Priddis down for a big mark. Out of 10 there. Back now for Langer. Langer probing, looking to get rid of it. And eventually is put down by Steve Walters. 5 gone. Priddis, Tallis, Kevin Walters, and he gets the pass away too hard for Lockyer. And Moody for Newcastle comes up to be confronted and put down by Tallis.
A great chance by the Broncos there. Comes to nothing. Put Priddis down for a 10. Put Billy Peden down for an 11 because he's the one who came up with the try-saving tackle.
Craigie. Brief. 30-metre line. Newcastle's end of the park. They're 4 points in arrears after leading by 4-0. 35 minutes into the game. Fletcher, just short of the 40. Shields in a standing start and drawing 3 into the tackle. Nearly to the halfway line. Newcastle in front of 21,190, something like that. Down for Lockyer, and back he comes to his own 30-metre line, and Peden shuts him down with Matthew Johns, 21,190. Now for Langer, and then it goes for De Vere. Michael is put down 35 metres out from his own line. He's a likely-looking player, De Vere. I've only ever seen him play wing, but he seems to handle the number 3 shirt quite well. That's good work by Brad Thorne there. That scoop off the ground for Sivan Asiva. Mightn't be that difficult for a little bloke, but it's darn hard for a man that's standing up there at about 6'4" or something. Now Walters puts a sprint on. Harrigan and Walters put him down. Former teammate for one of them, as far as state representation is concerned. Tallis put down by Gidley over the top. Hanging on down below was Matthew Johns. They're on the 40-metre line. As Ben Walker unloads, Langer puts a kick in, and it's going to bounce up favourably for Darren Albert, running away from the actual defence. Now he's gone back and tries to arc them. He does. He circled them like a possum. He's got play out to his own 20-metre line from Andrew for Craigie. Craigie's got Moody on his outside, but he's grasped there by Langer. Harrigan to the bench again now for Hughes. Hughes will play it 35 metres out from his own line. Really developing into an absorbing struggle, this one. We predicted earlier that there might be some points come in the second half. We didn't have to wait that long. When Peter made that comment, there were 4 points on the board and no tries. And then 5 minutes later, there were 2 tries on the board. Now there's been 3 scored. As Andrew John puts a kick back on the inside. That's a brilliant kick. And Lockyer is there. He anticipated well, Lockyer. It was the kick by Andrew Johns was just beautiful. Brilliant kick, but what a take from Darren Lockyer. That was tough at speed because it was not a good bounce for him. Back slam there, Walker. Just have a look at Darren Lockyer here. If he misses this, they're in all sorts of trouble. That's a great kicker. So down the short side they go. Langer's got 2 on his outside. Lockyer did well. Gets the pass away. Down the right flank, that's Chris Walker, the centre. And he's pulled down on the 30-metre line. Newcastle's end of the play as they come across for Langer now. Langer goes to the centre of the park. G is there. A short ball for Campion. Campion back for G. He knocked on, I thought. He might have been facing the wrong way, but I thought there was a knock on. The crowd are booing. I think they agree with me. Ben Walker's kick came off the head of one of the Newcastle players. So it'll be play on, and up and running now is Badiris. He's put down, the ball left behind him. Grant says play on. Albert is with it, and Albert is put down 35 metres away from the Brisbane line. Far back to Gidley. Gidley goes to the centre of the ground, away from Conley. A long, long ball. They're trying to get outside Brisbane on the left of the ground. Andrew Johns is put away. 22 metres out from the line now. And he can't play the ball. He can or can't he?
Bring it in field, please.
Grant sounding the whistle. He wants the ball taken away from Johns. It's been an unhappy day.
Bring it in field. Andrew,
Newcastle number 7.
He must be hurting Andrew Johns. Very rare for him to stay down. And you can see the distress.
That's the mark. Wait for the whistle.
He did the right thing. He had to straighten the play up. Despite the fact they had numbers, Brisbane was sliding. Someone had to straighten the play, and Johns did it. Unfortunately, couldn't get a quick play of the ball.
Ready?
Well, Grant wasn't concerned about the proximity of the injured player. Shields takes it to within 12 metres of the line now. Playing it back for Danny Badiris. Hughes at 5/8 and unloading to Matthew Johns out a little bit wider now. And he is pulled down by Brad Ford. They're 18 metres out from the Brisbane line. They're trailing by 4, the home team. Conley, Badeiros, and then Peden drifting back from the right to the left, and is put down by Campy in his opposite number. 5th tackle. Badeiros, and to the left of the ground. For Andrew, who's okay, puts a kick in off the side of the boot. Lockie has got the work to do. Lockie, you can't do it this time. It'll be a line drop out, and a good chance to come again for Newcastle.
Mounting the pressure, the home team. Aaron Lockyer equal to the task. Tries valiantly to get back in the field of play, but Moody down around the legs. Along with Craig, he kept him from scoring.
I'm just wondering what Andrew Johns' problem is. I can't see any leg problems. Maybe it's just fatigue. Maybe he's crook with a virus as well, but it really is unlike him to go down like he just did. He's back in the play now.
I've got to say, Paul, it's unusual that Butterfield is ruled out for this second half as well. He came up with 20 tackles. He was all over the place in the first 40. He may well have busted himself in that first half, but he could be very valuable the last 20.
It's Clinton O'Brien now. Newcastle starts their new set of 6. Brisbane there for a long time in the tackle, weren't they? Now it's Grief, and Grief is to ground. 25 metres away from the Broncos line. The defending premiers looking okay today. Shields taking them on, runner on the right, but that's the only side he had them running on. Badeiros sweeping it back to the left, and it's Matthew turning it in for Bill Peden. Peden working in amongst the defence, couldn't get a pass away. They're 10 metres out from the line. Players almost in centre of the field. Badeiros for Andrew Johns, goes for a second man out wide, picks up Gidley. This is the corner where they scored before. Darren Albert put down this time by Michael Hancock. 5th tackle. Will they kick big and high across the ground? Andrew Johns to the centre of the ground. Then it's gone through Hughes for Matthew Johns. Then out wide Bill Peden. They cut out Shields. They're going to score. Moody's over. Moody puts it down in the corner. Well, we spoke about it earlier. Nobody can go from one side of the ground to the other as quickly as Newcastle. I can see they're gone for the video referee, but my goodness, it looked classical what I've just seen.
And again, Newcastle look confident here. The question is whether Jason Moody has gone into touch and taken the sideline. He's very close. No doubt in Moody's mind that he stayed in the field of play. And
he's got 1 foot dragging there, to death. I'm just wondering if it hit the chalk before he put the ball down.
I really thought intercept all through that backline movement with Wendell Saylor coming in, but the pass got out wide as we slow down. Have a look at the back foot. His left foot getting closer and closer.
The ball's
it's a
down
try.
now, though.
No problem.
He's had the ball down well before his foot went out.
Yeah, that's a try.
And this man in the judgment position today has had a couple of tough ones. Doug Winton. As far as I'm concerned, he's got it all right. Dougie, my boy, 100 out of 100 for you. 12 all the scoreboard.
12 all, and Andrew Johns a chance to convert. Was the last tackle. Look at this for a pass. And they just keep it going. Marcus got numbers. As we freeze it here, I'm really thinking intercept. You can see that Wendell Saylor, he wants to come up. He knows that he's got to come up. 3 runners out wide as play continues. But the pass from Billy Peden gets through to Owen Craigie. And with Wendell Saylor not out on his wing, just enough space for Jason Moody to sneak around the side.
How important a part does Peter Shields play here, Paul, or are my eyes deceiving me? The big decoy that he ran.
Oh, he's had a tremendous game today. He's really made some good metres for them, made some half breaks, and of course, we know how big he is, but these passes that some of these players throw these days are incredible. 15 years ago, there was only one person in the game could throw a pass like Andrew Johns and Mark Hughes. That was Wally Lewis. Now, it's nearly every player can do them.
And the thing is, Paul, they can do it both sides. There's always been a preferred side. Most right-handed players, it's from right to left. But that doesn't pose a problem to just about everyone in the game, and this could put them in front.
Andrew from the sideline, though, he's hooked it too much. So there's no addition to the scoreboard. It is 12 points all between the Knights and the Broncos in front of nearly 22,000 people. The restart is from Ben Walker now for Brisbane. With the scoreboard at 12 points all. Those of you that have been to commercials, welcome back. We've got a very tight one on our hands here. The 2 teams that won the 1997 Grand Finals. The Super League to Brisbane, the ARL to Newcastle. A lot of people wanted them to play a week later and work out their differences. Wouldn't that have drawn a big crowd? And then I think more people than most people would want them to play the 1998 Grand Final. And, of course, Newcastle went off the boil and Canterbury went through to do that. But here they are today. They played last year, I understand that, 26-6, I think it was, in favour of Brisbane. But they are fighting out a titanic struggle today at 12 points all as Andrew Johns rolls it away down the hill, crossing the sideline, about 10 metres out from the Brisbane line. We must get Steve Roach to find out, if we can, from the Newcastle bench what exactly is wrong with Andrew. He's down, he's up, he's taking kicks for goal, he's still the playmaker. It certainly can't be concussion. It might be a virus, I don't know. Look at him. He's got blurred vision looking at that. Sign language seems to be saying some blurred vision. So Brisbane, the boys in the truck working overtime, the boys in the cameras, we forget to thank them as much as we should. That's tremendous close-up stuff that we're able to refer to occasionally. So played by Philip Lee, and they go down the short side with Brad Thorne. Started this game in the first half with a most impressive effort. He's got to keep it going, though, if he's going to get back into that Australian jump. Andrew G, 40 metres out from his own line, from Walker at dummy half to Lee, and Lee holds it back and shows it, and Newcastle has no part of it. They put the ball carrier down. That dummy half is Ben Walker, I do fancy, as Alan Langer puts in a kick. And just watching the contest between Langer and Andrew Johns today, I can't see the Australian number 7 losing the jumper. Not on today, and we must admit, of course, that Andrew has had a very bad day as far as his health is concerned. Talking of that, Steve Roach on the sideline. What is the trouble?
Yeah, it's concussion and a little bit of blurred vision. He got a bad knock in the first half, and he's had a couple since.
All right. Well, that's dangerous, isn't it, from my limited medical knowledge? If you've got a bit of concussion and you get another knock on top of it, that doesn't help. Like the boxer that's knocked out, he doesn't get to fight again for 3 months or something like that. Now Matthew Johns with numbers on his outside. They go back into the centre of the ground. Peyton goes down the middle of the ground. He's down to the 30. And he was sadly looking for support. So many times Newcastle are into open space and there's nobody there. They're looking to play the next play. The centre kick. Hughes is after it. Lockyer is after it. Craigie is after it. Craigie's on Lockyer. And it'll be a line dropper.
Lovely stuff there from Newcastle. Again, Darren Lockyer got back, but he was confronted by 4 or 5 red and blue jerseys, and they were all onside. Kick was absolutely beautifully placed.
Yeah, the weight of possession really starting to tell against this Brisbane side now. They've had to make just over 30 more tackles than their opponents today, all in this second half. They've hardly had the football, and there's really a few gaps are starting to appear up wide in their defence.
In my short history of the game, I've never seen a greater unsung hero in the side than Billy Peden. He is just the proverbial workhorse. Doesn't carry the profile of a lot of other players in the team, but they would be lost without him in many, many facets of the game. Here's the chief.
Oh! Webke went looking for him again. They're having a tremendous duel. Shades of Paul Harrigan and Mark Carroll. Here it is again, the body contact of rugby league, and bang, he hits him as that Newcastle take it down the ground. Andrew Johns will play the ball. Walters goes to the left, and it's with Gidley, and then on for Matthew. Second man, into the back line, Hughes. Now Craigie, as they pump away at that left corner where Moody scored just a few moments ago. Matthew Johns cuts out Paul Harrigan, picks up his brother. He puts a kick in, a grubbing kick. Hancock urgently back. The chasers are there, and not even Michael Hancock can get out of this jail. 12 all, 62 minutes of the game gone.
And here they go. They're just wearing them down, wearing away. Beautiful kicking game from Andrew Johns today. Lovely skill that, just to sit it up in the in-goal area. Hancock, we've seen him get out of that sort of situation before, but not today. Not with 3 red and blue jumpers hanging off him.
Lockyer, there's the possession, or the tackles, I should say, far outweighed against the Brisbane side. This dropout isn't as good as the previous from Darren. His previous kick went 55 metres. That went 45. And Clinton O'Brien has laid a nice platform now to work from on tackle 2. And this is Badiris taken there by Kevin Walters and Gordon Tallis on the 20-metre line. So that's the second time in possession for you. Now it's Harrigan. Harrigan pulled down 11 out from the line. Now it is Badderas, or should I say Walters. Walters for Andrew Johns. Now Matthew flicks it out the back. Walters gets it away. Andrew Johns has got the ball away. Conley flick passes. Andrew gets it away. Then it's knocked out. It'll be 6 more. It's picked up by Gidley. And Gidley is tackled and put down. He now starts the tackle count again. 15 away from the Broncos line. It is with Hughes. And Hughes goes to ground. And that is tackle 1. Played back now for Walters to Andrew John. Now for Gidley. Gidley trying to make some space for young Albert. Played back. Badderas to the left for Andrew. Look at this pass. Finding Matthew. Then it's with Fletcher. Fletcher jumps at the defence. Then he loses the ball. That is good defence there by Brisbane. And a scrum will pack down about 11 metres away from the Brisbane line.
Oh, didn't they need this? It's a strong tackle there from Ben Walker. Newcastle Knights seem to have targeted Brisbane's left-hand side of the field today, heading towards Kevin Walters, De Vere and Hancock. They've had some luck down there.
They love playing on the fringe of the ruck, and it would be a good plan to go at Kevin Walters, wouldn't it? The fact that he was in so much doubt coming into this game. Brisbane showing confidence, stringing a couple of passes from the scrum win, finding Saylor.
So here's Webke. Oh, a gasser. He's been in everything today, Shane. He's been handing it out, and now his turn to cop some. Tell us on the end of a Johns tackle. That's how tough he is, the little number 7. Mind you, if he loses the contest for the 7, that'll probably be bad news for Meshers Tooby, Gower, Walters and company, because he'll get the number 9 shirt.
It's got him again.
Holy moly. This is heavy stuff. Now they come back. Oh, Badderas ran into the shoulder of Tallis. Played back for Stevie Walters. Clinton O'Brien. And he got it away. Good work. Then Andrew Johns wide for Owen Craigie. Craigie puts the right hand up on Chris Walker. Playing the ball 10 away from the Brisbane line. Moody. Out in front of him, Andrew Johns dummies to Shields. Goes for Hughes. The ball carrier is Mark Hughes. No Shepherd, according to the referee. Albert, he's over. Well, he just looked him in the eye. He eyeballed Michael Hancock, and then he went in and away. He zigzagged and put it over the line. Oh, what light feet. It might be Fred Astaire.
Well, he's been out of the game, or was out of the game for a long, long time.
So was Fred Astaire.
Yes, indeed. But he's lost no speed. This is the culmination of sustained pressure and inspirational defence led by Paul Harrigan. Mark Hughes, fortunately no Shepherd there, no defender was impeded. One-on-one, no room to move. He just puts the move on Hancock. He clutches at fresh air. Albert gets across.
It's great stuff, isn't it? Fantastic rugby league. What a game. They have really worn them down, the Newcastle Knights. Brisbane must be getting very, very tight on their own line. And in the end, it comes down to one-on-one. It's the Roadrunner versus Coyote. And here it is. Beep, beep. And away he goes. Around him and away. The veteran, Michael Hancock, couldn't hang on to him.
Well, it probably didn't look quite as spectacular in slow motion, but this was just unbelievable. Here I am, you want me? Come and get me. I'm gone.
In slow motion, it still looked quick.
Well, by your standards.
Oh, well, that's true. It's been a great comeback from Darren Albert. He's had ankle problems, foot problems, and you would think that that could affect speed after a period of time. But he has come back and he's played very, very well and has lived up to the confidence shown by his coach, who put him straight back into first grade when he was available.
Well, the crowd loved that, because obviously he is one of the Newcastle heroes, Darren Albert.
What about Webke and the Chief? How good has that been?
Neither of them will be able to play next Friday night. Here's Johns, from 21 metres out and a metre in. He had a kick from here before. This one, he has got it on line. It's there! Just across the crossbar. It is 18-12. Newcastle's in front again. Welcome back as Ben Walker takes us into the next passage of play. Will the Broncos come back, or will it be Newcastle consolidating their lead? There's a hand around the throat, but Grant wisely has let it go. It was kindergarten stuff as some of the crowd groaned for a penalty. No way. O'Brien will play it just inside the 30-metre line. And here's Badiris starting some dummy half running. Smart stuff with the big forward starting to feel the pinch. And Moody takes the example. As they come towards halfway, Steve Walters does the same. This is what St George Illawarra did to them in the second half last week before going wide, like Newcastle did with that particular play, and then put the kick in. But Hancock, brilliant reflexes, down at mid-wicket, took it on the full. It was like a rifle shot. Now Brisbane with Lang back, away. Lockyer gets it on. And this is De Vere with a fend-off and then a step, and he tries to get between them. His tackle on the 30. Shadows lengthening, heading over towards the Hill patrons, many of them with the hand over the eyes. And they can get a view of something that's very special happening out there at the moment. Their home team's in front by 6. Brad Thorne. The revered 13 are in front by 6. Tremendous rugby league city. Good ball inside. Kevin Walters gets a pass away. That's Luke Priddis. And Priddis is all the way for Brisbane. So the pendulum, it swings one way. Now it comes back the other. This will be 6 points.
Well, you can never write them off. They have been a great team. They've had an awful start to the season. They look down and out here. But a wonderful inside pass as they go the short side, and we freeze it there. You can see the Chief is the inside man coming across. There's the try scorer, Priddis, and as play continues, a despairing dive from Paul Harrigan. Can't come up with the tackle on Kevin Walters. And Luke Priddis, he's got a very quick man in Jason Moody chasing, but you can see Priddis, momentum taking him over. In fact, it wasn't momentum. He just kept his arm up and threw it over. And it looks like we're going to be all square once again.
Oh, it's great stuff. You've got to realise it's the first time Brisbane have had the football in the last 15, 20 minutes. And Luke Priddis has had a big game today. He's backed up all day, nearly scored a try earlier and gets one now. Well, fasten your seatbelts. Last 8 minutes.
Lockyer going past the 550 career points with that conversion, and we are all locked up at 18 all. Are you okay down there, Stephen? Fasten your seatbelt, big man.
This is sensational. You're talking about unsung heroes. You already mentioned Billy Peden, but what about Kevin Campion? What a pass on the inside. Plenty of patience there. And look at the speed of this fella for a hooker. Gets over. What a game this is.
Luke Priddis' try converted. We are locked up at 18 points all with 8 1/4 minutes to go. Saylor is taken down by Conley, and O'Brien came in over the top with a late second tackle. It wasn't necessary. Siva Nasiba will play it.
And if this game is to be decided by 1 point, I think you've got to favour Newcastle.
Walters away, Lockyer inside. Walker running into a brick wall tackle, and Andrew Johns was the tackler, and he's having trouble getting up. This time it's a leg that's in trouble. And Walker actually lends him a hand as he gets to his feet. So they're 33 metres away from their own line. Andrew Johns has left the field on the far side. 40 metres out from the Broncos line. It's played back by Priddis for the kick by Lockyer. Brisbane keen to get down the other end, and there's no doubt what they're thinking. And the same thoughts will be going through the mind of Newcastle. But it's Darren Albert away from Tallis and taken down by Priddis with the help of Campion. From Badiris to Moody. Moody working in close to help the big men. And he's done well to take it down to the 40-metre line. The clock coming down to 7 minutes as Glenn Grief reaches the halfway. And Brian Grant thinks about the tackle count. I'd say it's at 4. As it comes through from Matthew Johns to Matthew Gidley. Gidley tries to go round him. He gets away from De Vere. Looks back on his right, but he's lost Darren Albert. Peter. Then it's gone from Matthew Johns. Suspect pass for Conley. Now it's 5.
He might be the man, Matthew Johns, the one in position.
It's gone to him now. He's taken the shot. Yes. He's got the shot. I think it's okay. Yes, it's a point. Newcastle's in front. Matthew Johns has landed the drop goal. 19 to 18, 6.5 to go.
Well, he took the responsibility. Doesn't matter if it was touched. He's guided it over. Andrew Johns had left the field. Matthew, who was very, very good with the drop kick, he fires it in low. And they lead by 1. This set of 6 working it out from their own line. Ultra important. No mistakes. Here's Fletcher.
So Fletcher, who's been a bit of a problem child today in more ways than one. They come down the short side with Peedham to the 30. You'd imagine a big audience watching this match in Brisbane in Queensland today. Good afternoon to you. Your team, there's not much wrong with them. The scoreboard says there's not. The league ladder says there is. I've just got a feeling late in September they'll still be there. As Badeiros kicks, the kick is going down, bouncing on its point. Hancock losing his balance. Badeiros, the kicker, makes the tackle. Lockyer tries to beat Fletcher, does that, but he can't beat the number 11 for Newcastle, Peter Shields.
They've got numbers that side.
Numbers on the right as Langer cuts out Walker, picks up Big Sailor. Sailor and Moody. Moody hangs on to a thread of cotton, and he will be forced to play the ball. 42 metres out from the Brisbane line. Langer, a short ball for G, and G is held by Fletcher and Shields. 41 metres away from their line. Brad Thorne. Thorne tries to bump away, but Newcastle surge in defence. The clock is inside the 5th minute now. Langer looking both ways. Walker, Ben, is pulled down 42 metres away from the line. And there's a knock-on. There's a knock-on, a let-off for Newcastle.
And not too many complaints from the Broncos, so probably a legitimate one. Any hands?
Yeah, they belong to the ball carrier. So the pressure that they were trying to mount to give themselves a shot at goal has been thwarted by their own ineptness on this occasion. Will they get another chance?
No, not happy with the scrum.
Don't tell me he's going to tell me that it's out the same tunnel.
Stay on the line. Steve, just stay there, Broncos.
He is. He wants it again.
Newcastle got to make sure that they get themselves set so that they don't lose this scrum feed. They've got Matthew Johns feeding. Put it behind the lock's feet. That'll work.
Craigie. Lockyer together with Kevin Walters. 40 metres out from the Newcastle line. It's been a brave effort by Kevin Walters, if the reports that I'm hearing are correct. There's a very good chance at 1:30 he wouldn't be playing or something around that time. That being the case, it's been, as I said, an act of bravado by Kevin Walters. But we know that family is a brave family. Here's one of them now, Steve Walters, playing at 37 metres out from the Brisbane line. As it goes on the left, and it's with Glenn Grief.
The Knights will be trying, you would imagine, to get one into the in-goal area here through Matthew Johns.
Well, there's the kick, Peter, that you're talking about. Oh, how about that? How about that for confidence from Wendell Sailor? 77 minutes gone on our clock. 10 metres away. This was the take by Wendell. And it's with Walker. He floats a long pass out for Michael Hancock. He goes back inside for Michael De Vere, who's tackled there by Matthew Gidley. Played back and away from Ben Walker, finding Shane Webke. The big fella still going quite strongly. Now Kevin Walters, Alan Langer at second receiver, back to the first receiver, then to Lee, then to Walker. Now through that'll be knocked on. It's advantage, play on, Darren Albert for Newcastle. And that will please Warren Ryan up in the box there. This contest today has been talked about as the clash of Langer and Johns. There'll be tremendous satisfaction on the coaching benches as well, I would imagine. Two of the very best coaches.
And 21,000 fans sound like about 81,000 at the moment. Willing their side home. Shields hurt in that tackle by Andrew G. He also won't mind soaking up a bit of clock.
Wait for the whistle, Peter. Move up, Marcus.
I don't know that there's any play acting involved here. I certainly hope not.
Now 10 metres with me. Move up the markers. Get up there.
I I think they've played this game in the true spirit to this point in time. And we all know what people think about rugby league teams that lie down and soak up unnecessary time. I don't think that's happening here, though. Away now for Harrigan. Harrigan running straight at them, pulverising the defence, or trying to. Steve Walters out from dummy half, and down he goes under the tackle of Rebke and Ben Walker. Hughes to the blind side for Shields, and Peter Shields is put down. An appeal from Matthew Gidley for a high tackle. Steve Walters throws the ball out and hopes for the best. Albert away for Hughes. Hughes on now for Badeiras. Badeiras puts a grubbing kick in. Lockyer comes out from the in goal, and Lockyer is held and put to ground. 1 1/4 minutes left on the clock. 19-18 in favour of Newcastle. It is with Walker. Ben Walker, who's told to play the ball.
Bring him out.
15 out from his line. Rebke. Ooh, Fletcher goes in together with Badeiras. G. Langer. Walton. They need to score almost. That's a knock on from Chris Walker. He got fingertips to it, and the touch judge has seen it. So another scrum, and that is really the ball game. They can't win now, the Broncos.
No, that's the ball game. A gutsy effort by the Broncos. They did lead 12-4. They haven't had much ball this second half, but they've really made a game of it. Newcastle, fantastic effort by them to come from behind.
Second row again.
Well, they're back. They haven't played all that well this year, Newcastle. Some ordinary performances. This shows they're back to their best.
And I think it shows both teams aren't too far away from their best call. In fairness to Brisbane, there's only 1 point in it on the scoreboard.
And what about the job for the selectors tonight? Gidley has been fantastic. Here he is with the football now. Matthew Johns has been great. Harrigan's been superb.
Gidley is 10 metres away. There's 5 seconds to go. And Brian Grant has given a penalty. So this will all be anticlimactical. Now, what's going on? Grant has said, you can't do that, come back and we'll do it again.
We're going to do it properly, brother.
We're all enjoying this, we're not going home yet.
Well, there's no reason to kick the goal here.
No.
You don't want to hit the post and give possession away.
10 metres.
You just want to take the tap.
Walk out, Andrew.
Take the tackle, and Brian, get out of the road.
Steve Walters has twice taken the tap, and twice Brian Grant has said, come back here.
He might sin bin someone in a minute.
He's trying to get Brisbane back the 10 metres. That's what he's trying to do. And Steve Walters is now playing his game. Well, how stupid. Anyway, it's another penalty. Grant, the referee, will not go away. He's trying to make a point that I'm in charge until I blow the full-time siren.
Give him the ball.
Or full-time whistle. So it's another penalty.
Stay there.
Now they bring it back. And then they take the tap and kick it into touch, so the referee actually wins the day. But the football match has been won by Newcastle in a game where the scoreboard operator was very busy. It's very satisfying to Warren Ryan. Very satisfying to a crowd of nearly 22,000 people. A 19 points to 18 win. They trailed 10-4 at half-time. The Newcastle Knights victorious today. We will take a break with the players who certainly deserve it. And we'll be back to wrap it up with Blocker and the $1,000 man of the match, all on the other side of this break.
Quite simply, a marvellous game of rugby league at Marathon this afternoon. 19-18, it finished in favour of the Knights over the Broncos, with the wingers getting the tries. Albert got a double, Moody a try, Andrew Johns kicked 3 from 5, Matthew Johns the winning field goal, while for Brisbane, Shane Walker, Hancock and Prittis all crossed. Lockyer kicked 3 from 4. Some great matchups out there this afternoon, but our man of the match this afternoon was in inspirational form, and he is with Steve Roach.
The $1,000 man of the match goes to the Chief, Paul Harrigan, the Newcastle captain. What a great game of football. I always enjoy seeing Brisbane up against Newcastle. That had everything.
Actually, yeah, they're the type of games you pray for. It was a great game to be involved with. It was fast. You're going from side to side. And no one really had the ascendancy for any longer than 5 or 10 minutes. It was a great match.
Yeah, you must be pleased with your own performance. Plenty of game time today. That's the thing that I noticed.
Yeah, that's the difference with forwards nowadays. Because you get pulled off and on all the time, it's hard to get that, a decent run. But today it was a good run. It was just a high-intensity match, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Chief, just before half-time, the danger signs were there. They were making 80 metres on their last couple of sets of 6 tackles, but you really lifted in the second half.
That's the most pleasing thing. our second halves for our last 4 or 5 games have been pretty well terrible. At half time, we didn't think too much about what we were going to do. We just went out and played the football and really enjoyed ourselves. And we caught a little bit of spirit back, and it's made a big difference.
Yeah, Matthew Gidley and Darren Albert, absolutely outstanding today. They can put points on the board.
Well, they're great kids, and they're improving every year. Yeah, they're terrific. Darren Albert played with, I think he hurt his ribs again too, so he showed a good bit of toughness.
Well, congratulations, mate. Good luck with that test side, and $1,000 richer.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Thanks very much.
His name hasn't featured too prominently in test team discussions. It might have just changed after that performance. 3 other games played today, and there were some surprises. North Queensland over the Auckland Warriors 24-0, and it was at Ericsson. The Tigers over the Seagulls 18 points to 12. I knew the Dragons were going well. I didn't realise how well. 44-2 over the Canberra Raiders. So at the end of round 7, the table is now condensed. We have 3 equal leaders, the Roosters, the Panthers and the Sharks, all on 12 points. At the other end of the table, it is still the Broncos and the Seagulls bringing up the rear. Next Thursday night, don't forget the footy show at 9:30 p.m. Fatty, Blocker and myself once again will be in action. And the following night, we're out to Stadium Australia for the Anzac Test match between Australia and New Zealand. That's at 8:30 p.m. Do check your local guides, and there still are plenty of tickets available. Sunday, no better local derby at the moment than this one at Shark Park, with the Sharks up against the Dragons at 4 o'clock. But a great game here at Marathon in front of over 21,000 fans. We hope you enjoyed it. Now, on behalf of the Channel 9 crew, we wish you a good night.
Weldon goes across the ground. He's looking for Wendell Sailor. Up they go. A chance for Brisbane. A chance for Brisbane. And Walker goes over. Across to Michael Hancock's ring. And up they go. It came back okay off Brisbane for Hancock. Hancock is strong. Can he get it down?
And in the news ahead, the Australian Rugby League Test team announced and a wrap of the weekend's games. As captain, while Laurie Daly's in the centres, Andrew Johns has missed a starting spot, with Langer named at halfback. Craig Gower and Brian Fletcher will make their debut. On the field, it's been another round of upsets, with Manly now the only team yet to register a win this year. In today's action, North Queensland down Auckland, St George Illawarra thrashed Canberra, Balmain added to Manly's woes, and Newcastle defeated Brisbane in a thriller.
Before the test team was finalised, selectors gathered at Channel 9 for the Brisbane-Newcastle showdown, and they loved the fire in Newcastle's furnace. Everyone was out to impress League's wise men. And after withstanding enormous pressure, Brisbane scored the only tries in the first half.
It is a try for old Michael Hancock.
Albert and Moody then set up an exciting finish, with their tries levelling the score. Harrigan was fearless. And in the tightest of finishes, Matthew Johns broke the deadlock.
He's got the shot. I think it's okay. Yes, it's a point.
Craig Field's first match for his new club was against his old ones, and the Tigers halfback didn't stop.
40-20, it must be close to it.
Hill was placed on report for trying to bury Field. Gillette just wanted to run off his teammate all day.
This time they will not be denied.
Field also gave the final pass for Kane's try. It must have been the sort of contribution Manly feared.
Kane! Joel Kane!
And at Cogra, a score that surely embarrassed the opposition. The Dragons crossed for 8-0. The massive 42-point deficit, even ugly by Canberra standards. And who said Puff was the only Magic Dragon?
Across the Tasman, it was a battle of the terrible two, resulting in North Queensland thrashing Auckland for their first win of the season.
While nothing went right for Auckland, North Queensland could do no wrong. Even slip-ups in set moves produced points.
What did we talk about luck today? How about the bounce of this one?
A bomb went uncontested for Cowboys captain Matt Ryan to score his second try. The Warriors' undisciplined display enough to make any healthy coach take up bad habits. Last night against South, the ball bounced perfectly for a flamboyant Wests outfit, Kevin McGuinness, the Magpies' highest flyer.
He's got a double!
Fullback Brett Hodgson put Wests on a path away from the wooden spoon. A bad night for the Rabbitohs made worse when Wayne Richards was placed on report for this high tackle. The Magpies ending a losing streak that started in June last year. Plenty of video viewing in the Penrith-Cronulla clash.
I wouldn't give that.
Video referee Noel Bissett did. More replays required when Brett Howland tried to regather. Russell Richardson also getting the green light. No doubts once Matt Rogers was in full flight.
Rogers, now he uses his speed. Into the clear, 30 to go.
20 to go. It's a good chase, but it's not good enough.
Trailing 16-6, Ryan Girdler got Penrith within 4 points.
Girdler reaches out.
Fullback Shane Elford's try under the post, sealing Cronulla's first loss for the season.
This will level the game up, and he streaks away.
After round 7, Sydney City shared top of the table billing with Penrith and Cronulla. Manly still bottom.